Previously on Ballz.
Brandon, is that you?
Yes.
Brandon, Neil Collins, Bollocks, tokodds.com are the backers of Bollocks. They are a company that look at the odds that you can get on various sporting occasions. We won't mention Duffner winning the USPGA because neither of us mentioned him last week, Brandon. Complete shock. He looks like
sure.
Someone said he looks like Homer Simpson's mate, but Duffner still had the game to win the last major of the season and to confound your Tiger Woods, your McIlroy, your Westwood again, and even Jim Furyk, who chased him to the end. We are going to be talking today, Brandon, I hope, not about last night's Bafana defeat. We may talk about some odds on the Burkina Faso game, but I'm really looking, with the mole next to me, my British football expert, I was hoping that we could look a little bit at the opening round of the English season, which happens this weekend with Man United Swansea, the 5:30 game, the one that I'm really interested in. Brandon, what can you tell me about your odds for the first week of English football, proper English football?
Yeah, this is what South African punters wait for. I mean, the English Premier League, a lot of interest in this country in English football, and yeah, this is where money can be made. I want to start off today with the side that you tipped at 2,000-1, West Ham.
Yeah,
they're playing Cardiff, and the bookies are offering 9-10 West Ham United to beat Cardiff City. Now, I don't know if South Africans know too much about Cardiff City, and maybe you can shed some light on that. But I mean, Alan Bookmaker offering even money West Ham to pull one over Cardiff at home. Big Sam Allardyce, that's got to be some value.
Yeah. Okay, what can I tell you about Cardiff City? I can tell you that they're part of what we call the Welsh invasion of the English Premier League. There was a side called Newport County, also a Welsh side. Then you got Swansea and you've got Cardiff City. They are Wales have their own Premier League, don't they, Moley? And it's a very low-level league. They do get to the qualifiers for Europe, but historically Cardiff and Swansea have been the two sides. I remember Cardiff 1927 beating Arsenal with a dodgy goal to win the FA Cup, first Welsh FA Cup winners. So there's a lot of aggro between England and Wales, rugby, football, in both those sports. Huge aggro. Obviously you've got the Gareth Bale, he's Welsh situation at the moment. Ryan Giggs was Welsh. So we're looking at a situation where Cardiff now play West Ham.
No Gareth Bale mentions on the show.
Sorry, Darren Scott's just told me
He's going.
we're not allowed to mention Gareth Bale on the station, even though he's a Real Madrid player. In fact, we saw a story this morning, Brandon, didn't we, that Gareth Bale telling his mates he'll never wear a Spurs shirt again, which may come into play on our top odds today. It might influence the way people feel about Spurs. But yeah, I mean, Cardiff City, you've got guys like Fraser Campbell. He's kind of a lower level striker. They got players who, I don't know, players who you would consider to be championship players have stayed at Cardiff. Not like in this country with the Mpumalanga Black Aces, when they get promoted, they buy 21 players. We're looking at a situation where Cardiff seem to be sticking with their tried and tested championship-winning side, with Malky Mackay in charge. He's probably, the Scotsman, probably going to stick with largely the side that came up. So, I can see Cardiff going straight back down, but at the same time, they're a big club. Cardiff is a big city. Cardiff get good fans, and they will be desperate and fired up, not just by club loyalty, but by national kind of pride to do well, like Swansea did last season in the Premier League. And you're looking at the odds for that, and we're looking at a situation where West Ham, super hot favourites to beat Cardiff in the opening tie, in Cardiff's first ever game in the Premier League. Would you take money on it? Are you saying to me, Brandon, that we shouldn't be betting on West Ham at those odds?
I think West Ham should be 6-10 in this fixture. I mean, at home, they'll be blowing bubbles, that's for sure, and I think they'll win it. I think a bit of even money from Alan Bookmaker.
Yeah.
I think that's where they'll go. I hope you weren't at the game in 1927 when Cardiff beat Arsenal.
I was just a kid then. But if I remember, the ball actually went over the line. Old black and white replays show the ball going over the line. So obviously Arsenal robbed of an FA Cup in 1927, but it wouldn't help the trophy drought at Arsenal because that's been going on since 2005. Listen, West Ham have signed, of course, Stuart Downing, the free-scoring former Liverpool and Middlesbrough player. And someone said that's absolute madness, signing Stuart Downing. That's quite unbelievable. Sam Allardyce should go and have a medical rather than Stuart Downing. So what you're saying is this, effectively you go into www.tokodds.com, guys, if you're listening. Go in there, scroll down the left-hand side, go to Soccer United Kingdom go into the UK English Premiership, and then click on West Ham v Cardiff, and you'll find that Cardiff are an exceptionally good bet, 28-10 with World Sports Betting, 61 to. Yeah, my eyes aren't good. 61-20 with Ellen Bookmakers.
61-20.
And you're saying that rather bet on Cardiff at those odds at Upton Park on Saturday rather than go.
No, I'm saying go for West Ham.
Go for West Ham at 9-10. All right, mate.
That's what I.
Yeah. Thing is,
if you want to have a look at
yeah.
the Man United game,
Yeah.
have a look at the Man United game.
Yeah.
I mean, they're offering Manchester United at even money to beat Swansea. Now, I know Swansea played very good football last season.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's going to continue in the opening game. I mean, Man United haven't been impressive in pre-season, but I don't know how much you can read into pre-season. Moyes' first game, you have to back Manchester United, surely. I don't think you'll get that price again this season unless they play at Chelsea or an Arsenal
when they start losing.
City.
Hold on, the Mole wants to get a word in here. Go on, Mole.
I'd have a little wager on Swansea. There's always dodgy results first week or two of the season, and Swansea's one that jumps out at you. A lot of pressure on Moyes that first game.
Yeah, most definitely. I just, as a punter, when you follow a side the whole season, it's only now and then that you get a price on, Manchester United at even money. But like you say,
sure.
they're even money for a reason. So, yeah, maybe the punters need to steer clear of that and bet with their head and not their heart in that fixture.
Swansea have bought well as well.
And Laudrup is wanted by everyone. Yeah, no, listen, it's the old Wales v England thing. It's going to be very interesting this season with two Welsh sides in the Premier League. It's a bit like South Africa having two sides from Zimbabwe or Botswana in our PSL. It introduces, as when Glamorgan play in the Cricket Championship, it introduces an element of national pride that will also be traded upon by the Welsh clubs. I'd love to see Swansea beat Man United, obviously, and I'd be quite keen on seeing Cardiff beat West Ham, but. Brandon, you're saying to us West Ham and Man United to beat the two Welsh sides in the opening week of the English Premier League season. Is that right?
Yeah, that's the way I would go. It's just value. I mean, Manchester United should beat the Swansea side. That's why I say to you, I don't know how good Swansea will be in the second season. Or, you never know. I don't know what their pre-season's been like as well. Manchester United hasn't been that impressive, but just with that squad and the quality, I mean, maybe Rooney's souring the situation over there. So I don't know. Maybe the punter needs to look at the value, and Swansea might be the value this weekend. But I think that's a good double. I think West Ham will win at home, and I think Manchester United will start off with 3 points this weekend. If you have a look at the Arsenal game, I know we've got some Arsenal supporters in the studio. The odds offered on this game, 1-3 Arsenal, Betting World offering 4-10. I don't know what kind of surprise package Villa will be this season. I know last season wasn't a great season for them, but maybe they can turn it around. I'm not too sure.
I'm going to leave this one to Moley.
Is Benteke? We haven't found out if Benteke's injured or not. I think Villa have got a good young side. I think Lambert stuck with the youngsters last year. They came through reasonably well by the end of the season. They were put under a hell of a lot of pressure from the fans as well. And that will make them a lot stronger and a lot better, give them the experience. They won't be a pushover, for sure. There's one of your dodgy results for Saturday. I should be saying that.
Right, Brandon, one of the problems...
So maybe what a punter's looking to do in this game, I mean, Arsenal are short 4-10. If you think Villa will hold them for, I don't know, the first half, maybe to a 0-0 draw or 60 minutes, maybe there what you need to do is have a bet in running as a punter, keep the top odds front page open on your laptop, and the prices will change in running, and maybe you might get after half time 8-9 to 10 Arsenal, and then it becomes a little bit of value. I think Arsenal win the game. It's just a matter of when they go ahead, and if they go behind, you might get even better value. So maybe that's a game you need to sit down and wait because the price is a little bit short. And maybe get value in running. I
think very important to this, and this is the case with sports betting all the time, is you need to look very carefully after an international week at some of the club players and what they got up to. And we heard a rumour last night, Molly and I, that Benteke had broken his leg. We can't find any confirmation of that, that Benteke actually did damage himself last night playing for Belgium. I'm looking now. There's no update on it. It's one of those things where he's going to come back to the club probably tomorrow. We don't think the leg's broken, and he'll be assessed. I think if Benteke doesn't play, I'd be very, very happy as an Arsenal fan.
Definitely.
Well, I think Arsenal fans haven't had much to be happy about, so at least that will make them smile a little bit to know that Villa are a little bit weakened.
Yeah. Okay, let's look at the other games. It's a hell of a thing, and you're right. South Africa does respond nicely when the English league. I know that probably the Bundesliga is the bigger league now, and La Liga is very popular in South Africa too. But it remains the case that everywhere we go, we have Liverpool, Arsenal, Leeds, Man United, and Man City fans. Man City came here, lost to Amazulu, and to SuperSport United, and we saw Joe Hart last night looking like he was facing SuperSport United for England. But we've got many Liverpool fans in this country from, the fact that their fathers or that they themselves were big Liverpool fans when Liverpool was such a big side in the 80s and 90s. Liverpool open up with Stoke. It's the early game in the Premier League, 1:45 South African time. Stoke under new management of Mark Hughes tried to change the style that they play, and they're going to play like Barcelona, not like... play like Barcelona, not like Ajax Cape Town, Chipper United. Liverpool versus Stoke. Let's have a look at the odds for that.
I think Stoke underused all league goals this season. I mean, their defensive record was fairly good under Pulis. I don't know, Hughes is not that type of manager. It's, as many as you score, we'll try and score more. So I think Liverpool's a good bet for this game. I'm not sure why the market's not opening. Maybe my internet connection is bad. I don't know if you guys can see that.
Mine says fetching data at the moment. Fetching data on Liverpool Stoke.
Mine too,
so we're looking at I've got it. I've got Liverpool 4-10 with Ellen Bookmakers, 7-20 with World Sports Betting, and then the one right at the end, Betting World has got them at 4-10 as well. So obviously, everyone's expecting Liverpool. 8-1 you can get on Stoke to win at Anfield, but Anfield not the fortress it once was.
Draw could be a good bet there, especially with Liverpool last year.
Yeah.
Hell of a lot of draws last year from them.
Do you remember those days when you went to Anfield and you just never came away with anything, and they were the side that never gave away penalties? We just lost Brandon for a second there. Obviously, my feeling on Liverpool is that Brandon Rodgers is one of those low horizon managers, a bit like people say about Roger de Sá being at Orlando Pirates, having been with a mid-table side all his life. We're looking at a situation perhaps where Liverpool, now anything above kind of fifth place is going to be a major achievement. What do you think, Molly?
Yeah, I mean, they've bought a couple of good players, but again, they've got a manager in there that's sort of done a couple of seasons and then moved on, and another couple of seasons and moved on, and he's trying to obviously get his way with Liverpool and put his imprint on the club and the players and the way they want to play. It's just not come off last year.
Yeah.
And they just still look a couple of players short,
I think it's quite difficult now for Liverpool to sign world-class players when they haven't got a big world-class name like Rafa Benitez or Kenny Dalglish as coach, Roy Hodgson for a while. And I think Brandon Rodgers just doesn't attract the same category of player or class of player, even with the same money that perhaps they could in the past. Brandon, are you back with us?
Yes, I'm back.
Great stuff, mate. Yeah, we're still discussing Liverpool and Stoke, but we're also interested, any other big bets that you can find for us on topadds.com this week? Is there anything else you'd be looking at?
This week, I think you need to look at the Rugby Championship. I mean, that's starting. South Africa's involved there. Yeah. They're playing Argentina. Also New Zealand and Australia, the game before that. So, I mean, South Africans will definitely get involved there. For some reason, I think Argentina, on the handicap, the plus is a good bet against the Springboks. I don't know why South African teams, in terms of the Springboks side, don't generally score a lot of points. I think Argentina, they didn't perform well against England when England were over there. But I think, World Sports Betting offering plus 16.5 Argentina in that fixture. I think that's a very, very good bet this weekend.
Yeah, I'm just looking at, again, guys, www.topadds.com. Go down the green menu to the left, and you'll find Rugby Union. Kick on Rugby Championship. And starting this week, this weekend, and the great thing is that Argentina and the Springboks are playing at the same stadium, at Soccer City, on the same day, at the same venue as Bafana playing Burkina Faso. And we look at these odds. We've got Argentina 13-2, 11-2, and 13-2 with the three that you're quoting: Betting World, World Sports Betting, and LM Bookmaker. But then you come down to your handicap bets, don't you? South Africa minus 15.5, Argentina plus 15.5. What we're telling people is that we're betting on South Africa. Take 15.5 points off South Africa. Will they still win? That's really what handicap betting means, isn't it, Brandon?
Yes. So basically, if you like Argentina at the plus, you're giving South Africa are giving Argentina 16.5 points start in the game.
Yeah.
So like you said, at the end of the fixture, you basically subtract 16.5 points off South Africa's score, and if they're still ahead, then you win on the handicap. But I think that's a lot of points for the first game of the season. I think the Boks will be a little bit rusty. They brought Farid Dupree back, but he's not starting. So I don't know how that backline's going to go with Ruan Pienaar. I think it's the first time he's starting in the absence of Hogarth. So, yeah, I don't know. I just think, you'll be rusty your opening game of the season, a little bit nervous. Soccer City's going to be packed. And yeah, I would be with Argentina.
It's going to be a very. I mean, what we haven't really looked at enough here is the impact that playing. Bafana are playing Burkina Faso, Springboks are playing Argentina. There's also a veterans game, isn't there? We were talking about earlier, Molly, where South Africa are playing the Italian veterans side. It's going to be very interesting. I don't know how the dressing rooms work at Soccer City. At Wembley, they didn't have enough dressing rooms to really cope with many curtain raisers, did they? They had the two major dressing rooms in the old days. There's probably four dressing rooms there.
Yeah, there's the A and B.
And it's going to be difficult for them. And then you've got the completely different type of crowd. I imagine there'll be some kind of rollover in the crowd depending on which side are playing live. But it's going to be a different atmosphere. I imagine there'll be vuvuzelas all over the place. And it'll be very interesting to see how the rugby side adapts and how Bafana adapts to having the Springboks on the same ground, Springbok fans in the stadium. And, of course, that affects results and it affects betting, doesn't it, as well? And I wonder if Argentina won't thrive on this. Argentina know all about the conjunct between football and rugby and having to survive as rugby in a football nation. It might suit them a little bit better than the Springboks, I think.
Yeah, that's why I say, 16.5 in an international is big by any stretch of the imagination. I don't think Argentina are that bad of a side. I think they'll have their big guns back. And I think that come the end of the game, they won't beat us. I don't think they've ever beaten us. But people mustn't forget, the last time they played, the game was a draw. So it's going to be I know we're not in Argentina, but I don't think it's going to be a walkover. It never is with Argentina. I think that forward pack will be giving the Boks a bit of a hard time. They pride themselves in their scrumming, and I don't know if South Africa's pack is as solid as it was. I mean, Pierce is not there. Bismarck's still not at 100%. So I'd be with Argentina on the plus. I think that's a good bet. More of an interesting game is the game before that, Australia and New Zealand. The betting there is much, much closer. Australia at home, their first test match under Ewan McKenzie. This could be very, very interesting. And maybe a controversial decision to let Richie McCaw, who's probably not match fit, lead out your All Black side. I know nostalgia's a lovely thing, but I don't know so much. I think McKenzie's going to have these Wallabies prepped and ready for this game. And once again, Australia on the plus 5.5, giving New Zealand giving them 6 points start in this match. I don't know so much. Maybe Australia, the plus at home, also a little bit of value there for the punter. Even Australia on the outright, you can get 18-10 with LM Bookmaker. So yeah, I think Australia maybe to sneak that one and blow the rugby championship wide open.
What? Actually sneak the result, not just the handicap?
Yeah, you know what? Australia at home under McKenzie are going to be a different...
Hold on, I'm tweeting that. Hold on, Brandon. You're saying that Australia could sneak past the All Blacks. That would be a wonderful result. When we had a great Lions series with Australia, didn't we? Even though Robbie Deans didn't survive it. And it was a good series. And you're saying that there's a chance that Australia could come away from their opening game against the All Blacks with a win.
I'll tell you the difference. This time, and that's Quade Cooper. I think Quade Cooper gets that backline moving. I think Robbie Deans missed a trick with him. He might have won the series if he had Cooper in that side. And I think Ewan McKenzie knows how to work with him. He knows what he wants. A lot of Reds players are in this backline and in this side, so the consistency will be there. I think New Zealand might be just a little bit rusty. Guys coming from the Chiefs and the Crusaders together. So, yeah, I think Australia there, 18-10. click on our site or call up the bookmakers and ask them for 2-1.
Yeah.
And hopefully, we could be on the right side of that result. But I think they're a good bet on the plus, and they might just sneak the victory.
Brilliant, Brandon. That's the kind of analysis I need. I'm not an expert on rugby. I just know that I love the Lions too. I thought Australia didn't quite get the credit they deserved, having lost that series 2-1, and could easily have won the first test as well, but for a couple of duff kicks. Great stuff, Brandon. I'm glad we don't have any golf this week. Golf does confound me. Daphne last week confounded me completely. Anything else you want to pick out? Any other little details? We've done some football. We've done some rugby. I think that's the Ashes is all over, done and dusted, isn't it, really?
Yeah, the Ashes, to have a bet in dead rubbers, I don't know so much. I think England will whitewash them. I hope England whitewash them.
So do we.
To hear Nasser saying and Mark Atherton on the TV, singing England's praises. You don't hear that too often, and at least, well, you haven't heard that before, but in this decade, most definitely, England's been the side in Test matches. So I hope they whitewash the Aussies. I really do.
Absolutely.
They deserve it. They're playing better cricket. There is golf this weekend, the Wyndham Championship. If you guys want to have a kick on golf and have a look there, no real big names in that field. It is a PGA event, so a European tournament.
Yeah, looking at it now.
And there's always value in golf. But like you say, you need to take the guy with the biggest price and hope he has a run. I was on Henrik Stenson for the.
I remember you saying that. Yeah.
And I thought after day two, I'm going to come on the show and say, hey guys, I collected. Who did you back?
And he was lurking, wasn't he? He was lurking along with Westwood. He was lurking after day two, and Jesus, carrying it through it.
Really, really.
How did Duffner stick with us? Ernie Els is 40-1 to win Wyndham. Ernie's always a nice kind of bet from the heart for South Africans. The big easy, he's been up and about this season. Slightly faded in recent weeks, hasn't he? Looking at the others.
The favourite for this tournament is Zach Johnson. I don't know how he finished in the PGA. I don't think I looked that far down. Was he in the top 5? I'm not sure.
No, he wasn't.
But that obviously will influence the betting. I don't know if I can take 12-1. This is a minefield.
I'm seeing Zach at 16-1. There's some quite nice differences between the odds, aren't there, as well? Rory Sabatini, South African 80-1.
In terms of how they'll perform a week after a major, So there's always value to be had. Top odds. Yeah. I say, get on Liverpool this weekend. Get on West Ham. Get on Manchester United, and get on Australia.
Okay.
Take it to come.
Yeah.
And as much as you can.
Brandon, that's the advice that our punters need, mate. But not always agreeing with you in the studio, but knowing that you're the expert in sports betting. The Mole and I just kind of hope that Arsenal win every week. Great stuff, Brandon. We'll speak to you next week, and let's come back and have a look at how those two Welsh clubs did in their opening matches in the Barclays Premier League, and see if indeed they both go down. Thanks, Brandon. Soon.
Thanks a lot, Neil.
Cheers, mate.
Bye.
Cheers.
That's the bollocks, isn't it, Molly? Talking sports betting. There's not enough of it in this country. A great place to enjoy yourself while gambling, as opposed to going to some bloody roulette wheel somewhere in a casino. And I've got to say that after that, I'm very tempted to bet on the two Welsh, on Cardiff and Swansea, to pull off a couple of shocks against West Ham and Man United. That would be great fun to see the two Welsh clubs win with my Welsh grandfather in mind. Molly, can you tell me anything else about what's happening with the big transfer deals? The Gareth Bale thing that we touched on earlier, telling his Welsh teammates, I'm never going to wear a Spurs shirt again. Does that mean Real Madrid? Does that mean £105 million record transfer fee, which is £105 million means you can basically buy Candler? Is that the case?
I think Tottenham are spending all that money already. They've just bought Etienne Capui's gone through and been agreed.
Yep.
They're looking at a couple of players that have been thrown around in the media the last 24 hours for Tottenham, and a couple of them are big money as well. Eric Lamela. It would make them a lot stronger, but then you've got to be thinking where they're getting the money from. So are they spending the Bale money already? Which makes sense if you're going to let him go. Get in early, don't do it afterwards. So that's sensible. I think what you spoke about with Paul last week and hinted at, that Levy does his business pretty well. If the money's right, he'll let him go. The stance is there, sure, But if the money's on the table, Tottenham will sell him.
It does look like Spurs have made the kind of astute buys kind of early in the transfer window to kind of settle people down. If Bale does leave, they then say, well, we've got that and that.
Yep.
Don't worry too much about it. Whereas Arsenal, where Arsene Wenger promised to buy big and buy early, has not done nothing of the sort. Yeah, Sonogo, the only signing for Arsenal still that I know of confirmed.
Who's injured?
And he's already injured. He played in the under-20s for the French winning side with some success, but he's not your big early buy, is he?
No, sure. No,
Mate.
I mean, I just there's so many different avenues that you've got to look at as well. I mean, we know that there's the three people involved. There's the selling team, the buying team, and the player. Our players been approached at Arsenal and are saying, well, yeah, we want to sign, but you're not really in the once you're in the Champions League qualifiers, once you're in that group stage, we'll sign. Are they waiting for that? Have they already got players lined up that have half agreed? Yeah, we'll come to you. And then it's all, you wait until the 27th, 28th to, 3 or 4 signings will go through. I still think that domino effect will happen. The Bale money, Tottenham are doing well with that Bale money for sure. If Liverpool hang on till the very end and then still sell Suarez, what benefit is that? I just don't see the point.
No, I agree with that. But listen,
Rooney's now been. Have you seen the David Moyes has said Rooney is not for sale again?
Okay, well then explain to me, Molly, or can someone explain how Wayne Rooney
can play?
Is
but
too
he's injured.
Badly injured to play for Man United, travel them, shoulder injury, is it?
Yeah.
And then he turns up half an hour, and this is the amazing thing to me. England's first training session in preparation for last night's win over Scotland, Wayne Rooney was out half an hour before the rest of the squad, eager to get out there, eager to play. Yep. He was in the starting lineup. He hasn't played for his club in all the pre-season friendlies. They only won 2 out of 8 pre-season friendlies. That's why I started hashtagging Moyes out. And then suddenly Wayne Rooney starts for England. He didn't play that well. He had a goal disallowed, I saw last night. He was eventually jerked, and he didn't play that badly. But at the same time, how can you turn around? Your player has just played for England, is too injured to play for you, and David Moyes says he's not for sale. Isn't that simply trying to put the price up for Chelsea?
Exactly. That's an advert saying put the money on the table and he's yours. Again, it's all showing me they're showboating, aren't they?
This is Ballz Visual Radio.